Dear Ms. Hanson, a recent excursion to Elkhorn, Iowa led to an impromptu detour which brings me to writing you today. I believe you and I might be related. If indeed you are one of my lost relatives, I'd love to share and perhaps uncover more of our story. Hope things find you well in Denmark. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Dear Mr. Hansen, your surprise email was a welcome diversion from the hustle and bustle of my busy life as a magazine editor here in Aarhus. I'm intrigued by your message. Please, tell me more about your discovery.
Dear Ms. Hansen, where to begin? Let's just say that my discovery of the Danish Museum in Elkhorn was just one of many I made that day. I must admit I've never expressed a great deal of interest in my family's history. Sure, I knew I was part Dane, but my knowledge of my heritage ended there. Something, however, drew me into this place. Imagine my surprise to discover a familiar name from my childhood on the museum's wall of honor. Turns out my great-grandfather on my father's side emigrated here from Denmark sometime in the early 1920s. As I learned more, I found I had even more questions. I began to wonder, what drew my Danish ancestor to make the journey here, to become one of more than 300,000 others who came to North America throughout the early 1900s? Was it opportunity? Was it the sense of adventure? Was it for religious reasons, perhaps? What had my great-grandfather's life been like when he got here? Had he been motivated to settle on a farm here in the American Midwest, perhaps prompted by the changing Danish farm economy? Or had he first traveled to the big cities like Chicago, Minneapolis, or Omaha to apply his skills as a bricklayer, a carpenter, or maybe even a blacksmith? I had an idea of where to look for more answers. The Family History and Genealogy Center, I was told, held scores of family trees and histories. Within minutes, I was taken back years into the past. Tracing my family's roots, I located the town in Denmark my great-grandfather originated from. Randers is its name. And with just a bit of internet research, I discovered a handful of names, including yours. I'm attaching a photograph and a few clippings I found. I think they might help confirm our relationship. P.S. As I learned about Danish traditions, I now understand why my family insisted on coffee every day at 10 and 3 p.m. sharp without fail. It's a habit I've seemed to adopt myself unknowingly. The apple doesn't fall far, I guess.
Something about the photograph you sent struck me as familiar, so I forwarded it on to my father, and he recognized it from a family photo album. I was delighted to learn that your great-grandfather and my great-grandfather were, in fact, brothers. My compliments on your detective skills, Mr. Hansen, and please, call me Lena.
Dear Lena, and please call me Christopher. You can't imagine how excited I am to receive this news. As I toured around the various landmarks surrounding the museum, I couldn't help but experience a growing pride in my own heritage. To know I have a relative alive and well in Denmark truly brings a smile. So please, tell me more about yourself and the great-great-uncle I never met.
I was very young, but to this day one of my most vivid memories of my great-grandfather is the sweet smell of his pipe smoke.
How interesting you should mention that, Lena. Part of the huge collection of artifacts and heirlooms the museum houses, more than 35,000 according to the curator, included, believe it or not, a display of traditional Danish tobacco pipes.
I can only imagine some of the fascinating stories each of those treasures would have to share. Tell me, what else did you see?
An impressive exploration of Danish art influences also captured my imagination.
I'm an avid follower of Danish art forms of all kinds. Are you a fan of Danish film, Christopher?
I don't know that I've ever seen a Danish film, to be honest. Do you have any recommendations?
From film to architecture to literature, there's much about Danish culture I could share with you. Where to begin? Hope things are going well, cousin. Thought I'd send you a little something to give you a feel for the sights and sounds of the city. It's even better in person. Looking forward to your visit, Lena.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Mark Nielsen, Executive Director of the Danish Immigrant Museum. Founded and chartered as a nonprofit organization in 1983, the museum was created in response to the wishes of many immigrants and their descendants who, as they got older, desired a place where their dramatic story could be told. Through artifacts, exhibits, and more, we honor those wishes by facilitating explorations of Danish heritage and contemporary cultural exchanges. The Danish villages of Elkhorn and Kimballton, located between Des Moines, Iowa and Omaha, Nebraska, were chosen as the site due to the high population density of individuals claiming Danish heritage. The museum's 16,000 square foot core building, which opened in 1994, was inspired by the designs of buildings found on Danish farms, and rests among rolling Iowa hills and natural prairie reminiscent of Denmark's lush countryside. It's just the beginning, however, of the vision we have to ensure the Danish Heritage Museum continues to live up to its national status as a facilitator of cultural exchange. The building of a Forsamlingshus, or gathering place, would allow museum grounds to be used for conferences, meetings, banquets, retreats, rotating exhibits, family reunions, and community gatherings. Other works in progress include a redesign of our present exhibit, focusing on the immigrant story, and the expansion of our permanent exhibit space to accommodate additional cultural exploration. Our traveling exhibit program, which actively provides materials for museums in such places as Tempe, Minneapolis, Chicago, and Solvang, will be expanded, as will our virtual museum, providing an enhanced experience for visitors to our website. Planned for the museum grounds is a Jens Jensen Heritage Park, named for the famous Danish landscape architect, colleague of Frank Lloyd Wright, and designer of much of the Chicago public park system. While the museum was initially founded to stand witness to the past, its purpose has expanded greatly, and these future plans promise to celebrate and explore the rich and varied cultural contributions Danes have made and continue to make in America. Discover the rich history and modern cultural relevance of your Danish ancestry and help others to do the same. Visit the Danish Heritage Museum today, either online or in person.